Good evening. AIMIM chief Owaisi has weighed in on the Rishi Sunak as a minority candidate becoming Britain's prime minister, that entire debate that's been stirred off. Owaisi says he dreams of a day when a hijab-wearing woman can and will become the prime minister of India, which is all very well. It's a noble intention. No one has a quibble with that. But shouldn't charity begin at home? In Mr. Owaisi's party, for example, there are no women in any senior leadership position, either as party president, secretary, or even MLAs that the MIM has in different states. So should Owaisi be preaching about gender rights when his own party's record is so patchy?
British Asian Rishi Sunak's ascent to the high seat of power in the UK has triggered a massive political storm in India. A day after several opposition leaders lamented that such a situation is not possible in India because of a majoritarian government, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has added fuel to fire.
मैं तो बोला कि इंशाल्लाह मेरी जिंदगी में या मेरी जिंदगी के बाद एक हिजाब पहनने वाली बच्ची भारत की प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनेंगी बोले.
Owaisi's remark was immediately criticized by the BJP, who asked him to look no further than his own party.
नफरत के जो एक के बाद एक इस तरह के नफरती लोग हैं, उनकी इस तरह के बयान ही उनकी जो है रोजी रोटी है. अपने परिवार से अलग किसी हिजाब वाली महिला को जो है वो चुनाव लड़ाएं और जिताएं.
Let's have the charity from home. When will a hijabi woman become the president of MIM party? There is a Bharat Badnami brigade which has a Sanki Sanak, to use even Rishi Sunak issue.
Even the opposition steered clear of Owaisi's pitch for a hijabi as prime minister.
Why do you think of this as being a communal thing? Anybody in this country, no matter what community, what religion, can aspire to be prime minister. There's no problem at all about that.
Owaisi also accused the BJP of attempting to eradicate secularism and equal opportunity in the country. But the fact of the matter is that there are no women MPs, MLAs, or even office bearers in his own party. So is it politics or provocation?
All right, on the big talking point this evening, Ratan Sharda, RSS researcher and author, Suman C. Raman, political analyst, joining us. Mohammad Farhan is spokesperson of the MIM party. Amber Zaidi is a social activist, and Amina Sherwani, women's rights activist, joining us as well. Ratan Sharda, let me start with you first. There are 1.5 million people of Indian descent, persons of Indian origin, in the UK. It's the largest ethnic minority in that country, and one among them, a British Asian of the third generation, Rishi Sunak, has become the prime minister of that country. Shouldn't Indians and people of Indian heritage all over the world celebrate that? Instead, you have Mr. Chidambaram and now Mr. Owaisi saying, when will our country get a woman wearing a hijab as prime minister? Are they trying to poke holes in the Sunak story, or are they trying to poke holes in what's happening in the country right now?
Actually, it's very amusing Diwali Eve discussions, and I'm really enjoying all these discussions because hypocrisy of these people comes out so openly. First of all, the hijab was never part of our dress for Indian Muslims. There was no burqa. It became prominent just last 20 years back, and hijab has been introduced as an Arabic slavery sign only in recent years. Now, whether they want hijab or burqa, first point. Secondly, would they support Iranian women for the right of freedom who are burning hijab, or they want hijab to be put on the head of the girls who are unwilling to do so? So this patriarchy they have to clarify. If they say Islam is what the best part of Islam is, if they follow Sharia, which they continuously claim that Sharia is above constitution in many debates, then as per Islam, a woman cannot even leave her house without a male accompanying her, if not a male, at least a child. So how can a Muslim woman can become a prime minister when the Islamic society forces her to carry a child or some boy with her going anywhere? And the next, if you say Islamic nation next door to us, in Pakistan there was Benazir Bhutto, she lost her life. She was not a hijab-wearing politician. In Bangladesh, we had two ladies who became head of the state, prime ministers. They are all without hijab. Show me one country, Islamic or any other, especially Islamic, where you have women becoming head of the state. So this, either you support Sharia and Islam, or you say we are a secular country. If you are a secular country, then don't oppose triple talaq. Then if you are secular, then what did you do for 60 years, 50 years prior to 1996? 10 years from 2004 to 2014, secular governments all through, why they could not get a Muslim prime minister as elected.
No,
And
so
why in Punjab
me-
we cannot have a chief minister who is a Hindu,
Let-
or in Jammu Kashmir where minority can be chief minister. So this hypocrisy of entire gang is so funny. And Sunak did not become prime minister because he was a Hindu. He became a prime minister because he worked hard, he worked through the party, he rose to the top, and we must compliment him for that.
Yeah,
Not
no,
because
I
he is a
absolutely
Hindu
agree with
and
you.
he
I
became
think
a
you've hit
PM.
the nail on the head, and this is where this debate gets completely sort of fictitious, because Sumansi Raman, Mr. Rishi Sunak got chosen not because he's a Hindu or because of his Indian heritage. He got chosen for two things. Number one, to fix the British economy, and he has a proven record of that as Chancellor of the Exchequer before, and then, of course, his background in private investment banking, so on and so forth. So he's capable. His capabilities are well tested, and that's the number one reason that he got picked. And the other reason is, England, as is India, a parliamentary democracy, whoever has the support of majority legislators, majority parliamentarians, goes on to become the leader of that party. It is not a post of tokenism. The Prime Minister of a country like India or England is elected by majority. So tomorrow, and nothing stops a hijab-wearing woman, the Constitution certainly does not stop a hijab-wearing woman, if she gets the support of a majority of the people of India to go ahead and become Prime Minister. So this whole debate around Sunak has been reduced to mere tokenism and not about what his capabilities are.
First of all, Zakka, should Mr. Chidambaram or Mr. Owaisi do they have the moral authority to say what they are saying within their parties? The answer is no. That is a different issue. I don't think that they are actually saying that Mr. Rishi Sunak did not get where he was because he had the merit to get the job. I don't think that is their point at all. Their point is the atmosphere in the country is such that it accepts a person belonging to a minority community, belonging to a minority faith in his country, to become the Prime Minister of the country. I think that's the point that's being made. Should Owaisi be making that point? Is he having the same freedom to the women and other groups in his own party?
Yeah.
All that, of course, is definitely a valid point. But, and I think that this is important. See, we have to understand that this applies to all political parties. Look, we have not had a Muslim chief minister of a state in 40 years, from the early 80s onwards. And I think the last one was Anwara Taimur in Assam. After that, I don't really think we've had a Muslim chief minister. So where is this issue of a society that is being open enough to embrace every different ethnic group within it? We are not. And the rise of the BJP has meant that even political parties which quote unquote claim to be secular are now running scared, seeing the electoral success of the BJP with their hard Hindutva line. And they are running scared. You see Mr. Kejriwal's statement today.
Yeah.
You have to put Lord Ganesha and Lord Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi on the notes. So now it is now a question of who is more Hindu than the other. Because electoral success
fair
seems
enough.
to be assured.
I'm not arguing against that. But the fact is also that electability and winnability has become now the bottom line for political success, whether it's in the BJP or any other party. The same Aam Aadmi party you refer to has an Amanatullah Khan. They have a Tahir Hussain who used to be an MLC. But
Yes.
I want to get to the larger point. Both Ratan
Yeah.
Sharda and Sumant also referred to
One-
this. So
one
I want to
quick
ask
point, Zakka.
Mohammad
One quick
Farhan.
point,
No,
Zakka.
just give me 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Mohammad
Yeah.
Farhan is a spokesperson of the MIM party. Mohammad Farhan साहब, जो आपके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्री असदुद्दीन ओवैसी ने बोला वो अच्छी बात है, किसी को कोई ऐतराज नहीं है. All right, we've lost him. Let's go to Amber Zaidi. Amber, no one has a problem with what Mr. Owaisi said. The problem is his own double standards when it comes to his own party. Everyone, has no problem with a hijab-wearing woman becoming a prime minister as long as he or she is capable, as long as he or she gets elected to public office in this country. But in Mr. Owaisi's party, despite his noble ideals and noble aspirations, the national president is a man. The different state presidents that they have in 5 or 6 states, they're all men. All MLAs that they have across 5 or 6 states where MIM has MLAs, they're all men. Almost all of the spokespersons are men. So where is a woman, hijab wearing or otherwise, in Mr. Owaisi's party in any position of leadership?
Absolutely right, Jika, because as they say, charity begins at home, and whatever Owaisi ji is preaching, he doesn't practice that. So he needs to practice whatever he is preaching to the entire nation. We need to, in our country, if we talk about the Muslim women especially, their literacy rate is so low. He doesn't care about the literacy rate of women. He doesn't care about the healthcare of Muslim women. He doesn't give that equal rights that Muslim women as the Islam or Sharia has given. Even the constitution for that matter, but they never talk about the equal right or basic human right the Muslim women should get. But he is just preaching what is he should also I just want to ask one question to Owaisi ji. He should at least give up on his MP seat from Hyderabad and nominate at least a woman from his party, and he should give a chance to become a prime minister from a woman from his party at least, and then he can come out and yell out to the people what he is just trying to set up a narrative that in India Muslims are being targeted just because of their religious identities, for hijab, for topi, for beef, or for all these things, which is absolutely not right. He needs to do politics on the real issue, the work on ground.
Okay, Amina Sherwani, I'm taking ahead what the point that Amber Zaidi was making. That again, I have no quibble with Mr. Owaisi wanting to see in his lifetime a burqa-clad or a hijab-clad woman becoming the Prime Minister of this country. Surely, if that person is capable, if that person has electoral majority, the support of the majority of the people of this country, absolutely, that person should go on to become Prime Minister. But in Mr. Owaisi's case, not just this leadership issue in his party, but more importantly, how do you get there? We're talking about Rishi Sunak. It's his capability. He went to the best schools in England and the best universities in the world. It is about his education. As an old man once said, the greatest leveler that we have in this country is quality education. If you get a good education, that is a sure shot route to success. What has Mr. Owaisi's party done about education and for women? Who is the party who said, agar hijab nahi to kitab nahi? Are they not becoming an impediment in the way of girls getting an education, Muslim girls getting an education? Nothing is more important than getting a good education. And if a hijab is an impediment in that, then the hijab should go, not education.
Absolutely. And let me tell you about Rishi Sunak. He even has African blood. He's got an African grandmother from Tanganyika. So he is a Punjabi Khatri from Gujranwala. And as we know, the Khatris are of Greek origin and they traveled from Europe and came this side. He is truly a world citizen. He did not hide himself in hijabs. He got the best education in the world. He has done businesses all over the world. And yes, if Muslim girls will go out and travel Africa, India, Europe, reach every country in the world, and they will be educated, they will certainly become prime ministers, not just of India, but of any country in the world that they choose to become. So the world is our oyster, and that is exactly what Islam and the Quran tells us. To travel, to do business, to be educated. The word hijab is not mentioned in the Quran. The Quran does not tell the women to cover themselves up. So I don't know why Mr. Owaisi keeps dreaming of Muslim women in hijabs. Now, women are covering themselves to escape the male gaze, and Mr. Owaisi is seeing them in his dreams. I think he should stop dreaming about women in hijabs, and he should stop staring at women in hijab, and he should stop bothering about women and leave women alone. He needs to be just stop being obsessed with us women. Leave us alone. We know what to do with our lives, and we know how to become prime ministers. We know how to become presidents. We know how to become Chief Justice of the Indian Supreme Court. We know how to join the Hague. We know how to go to the United Nations. We really don't need him to comment on us. He is a nobody, and he should understand that.
We had no less than a Justice of the Supreme Court who was a hijab-wearing woman, Fatima Bibi. And when she used to go to court to perform her public official duty, she used to remove the hijab. That is what Mr. Owaisi should be encouraging in young girls. Mohammad Farhan is back on the discussion. Mohammad Farhan, साहब ये बताइए, आपके जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्री ओवैसी जी ने बोला है, अच्छी बात है, कोई को उससे कोई एतराज नहीं है, लेकिन चैरिटी बिगिंस एट होम एक कहावत है अंग्रेजी में. तो आपके पार्टी में बताइए कौन ऐसे महिला है जो हिजाब पहने हो, हिजाब ना पहने हो, जो लीडरशिप पोजीशन में है. क्या आपके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष महिला है? क्या आपके जो प्रदेश अध्यक्ष हैं काफी सारे प्रदेशों में, क्या वो महिला है? कोई एक जन ऐसा है महिला जो आपके पार्टी में लीडरशिप पोजीशन में है?
जी सर, मैं आपकी बात को कह रहा हूं। सर, हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में महिला विंग की जो प्रेसिडेंट है नजमा फातिमा जी, वो हिजाब भी पहनती हैं और क्या नाम है पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में महिलाओं को जोड़ने
फरहान
का
साहब,
काम।
महिला विंग के प्रेसिडेंट तो महिला ही बन सकती है ना।
सुनिए
ये बात तो आपको भी पता है।
नहीं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं ना, मैं आपको गिनवा रहा हूं कि हमारी पार्टी के अंदर कितनी महिलाएं हैं जो हिजाब पहनकर क्या नाम है आज की डेट में काम कर रही हैं।
सर, महिला विंग की प्रेसिडेंट तो आदमी नहीं बन सकता है ना, वो तो महिला ही बनेगी। ये क्या लॉजिक है आपकी?
अरे सुन लीजिए, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, गिनती करा रहा हूँ कि हमारे यहाँ कितनी महिलाएं।
बोलिए।
कौशिका परमार जी हैं जो कि क्या नाम है गुजरात में उनको टिकट दिया गया है, वो पार्टी के लिए काम कर रही हैं। आपके तमाम टीवी चैनल्स पर भी ये खबर चली है। रिया सिद्दीकी जी हैं जो क्या नाम है मेन बॉडी में हमारे यहाँ प्रदेश सचिव हैं और क्या नाम है पार्टी के लिए काम कर रही हैं और पूरे प्रदेश में पार्टी को मजबूत करने का काम कर रही हैं। इस तरह की तमाम
फरहान साहब एक सिंपल सी चीज मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं, क्या आपके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष मुस्लिम महिला हैं? प्रदेश के जो अध्यक्ष हैं 5-7 प्रदेशों में आपके प्रदेश अध्यक्ष हैं, क्या वो महिला हैं? एमएलएज हैं आपके काफी सारे, तेलंगाना में हैं, महाराष्ट्र में हैं, बिहार में भी थे, क्या उसमें से एक भी महिला थी? तो आप अगर लीडरशिप पोजीशन अपने खुद के पार्टी के अंदर नहीं दे रहे महिलाओं को, तो फिर क्या ये हसीन सपने देख रहे हैं ओवैसी साहब की एक दिन हिजाब पहनी हुई लड़की बनेगी भारत की प्रधानमंत्री? ये तो हसीन सपना ही है।
नहीं, हसीन सपना नहीं है। महात्मा गांधी जी ने भी जब अंग्रेजों के सामने ये बात कही थी कि एक दिन आप देखिएगा कि धोती और कुर्ता पहनने वाला इस देश का प्राइम मिनिस्टर होगा, तो अंग्रेजों ने उनका उपहास उड़ाने का काम किया था। वही आज बिल्कुल ओवैसी साहब पर लागू हो रहा है। चाहे भारतीय जनता पार्टी वाले उनका जितना भी उपहास उड़ा लें, हमें ये फर्क नहीं पड़ता। अगर विधि को लिखा होगा कि इस देश में भारत की एक ऐसी महिला प्रधानमंत्री बने जो हिजाब वाली हो, तो विधि 100% वो बनकर
फरहान साहब, किसी को कोई एतराज नहीं है अगर वो उनमें काबिलियत है, नहीं उनमें काबिलियत है और वो देश को कन्विंस कर सकेगी कि उनको मेजॉरिटी क्यों देना है, वो बिल्कुल आगे आना चाहिए और उनको पब्लिक ऑफिस में पोजीशन मिलना चाहिए। लेकिन किस पार्टी ने बोला अगर हिजाब नहीं तो किताब नहीं? ये तो बीजेपी ने नहीं बोला ना। किस पार्टी ने बोला?
जो हिजाब के मुद्दे को लेकर आप बात कर रहे हैं सर, कर्नाटक में जिन बच्चों ने कहा कि अगर हिजाब नहीं तो हम एग्जाम नहीं देने जाएंगे या हम पढ़ने नहीं जाएंगे, तो वो बच्चों का मुद्दा था। ओवैसी साहब ने तो कहा नहीं कि हिजाब नहीं किताब नहीं।
नहीं, आपको वो पोस्टर्स याद नहीं है फरहान साहब? मैं याद दिलाता हूँ, जो औरंगाबाद में आपके जो गढ़ माना जाता है, गढ़ नहीं मतलब आपके एमएलए वहां से आते हैं, औरंगाबाद में पोस्टर हिजाब नहीं तो किताब नहीं किसने लगवाई? बाकायदा एमआईएम पार्टी के फ्लेक्स बोर्ड लगे थे वहां पे, हिजाब नहीं तो किताब नहीं।
देखिए क्या नाम है, हिजाब नहीं किताब नहीं, ये जो है ये पर्टिकुलर उन बच्चों का अपना स्लोगन है जो आज हिजाब की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं कोर्ट से लेकर जमीन तक।
अंबर जैदी, ये बच्चों की लड़ाई नहीं थी, ये तो बिल्कुल 100% राष्ट्रीय राजनीतिक तरीके का एक लड़ाई था और आपके पार्टी भी इसमें एक अंग था। लेकिन एनीवे, लेट अंबर जैदी रिस्पॉन्ड टू इट एंड आई विल कम टू रतन शारदा आफ्टर दैट। या
Absolutely, it has been proven in the Supreme Court also because it has been politicized by some so-called political parties and also PFI, and we all know that how they have been politicizing this particular matter for at least 8-9 months now, and nobody is focusing on the prime education of young girls. They are only politicizing this matter just to gain some political brownie points. I want to ask one question here. A Muslim lady in AIMIM, if they want to join, if I want to join AIMIM today, like this, without not wearing hijab, I can't be a member of AIMIM covering my basic requirement is to cover that. I'll give you an example of Sayeda Falak. She used to be without hijab, a normal girl, like a normal any Indian girl. And after even before joining AIMIM, she started wearing hijab and covering her head. So this is the basic requirement to become a member.
No, this is a great point. Let Farhan respond to this and I'll go back to Ratan Sharda after this. मोहम्मद फरहान साहब, ये बताइए कि महिलाओं को आपके पार्टी में सदस्यता मिलने के लिए क्या हिजाब पहनने की जरूरत है? बिना हिजाब पहने हुए औरतों को नहीं देंगे आप सदस्यता?
नहीं, बिल्कुल देंगे। अगर अंबर जैदी जी अगर हमारी पार्टी ज्वाइन करना चाहती हैं और इस शर्त के साथ कि वो बिना हिजाब में रहेंगी तो हम उनका स्वागत करते हैं। कल आए पार्टी ज्वाइन करें। उनको
नहीं, उन्होंने एक उदाहरण दिया एक महिला के जो हिजाब पहनते नहीं थे, लेकिन जैसे आपके पार्टी में ज्वाइन किया उन्होंने, तो हिजाब पहनना पड़ा उनको। क्या ये सच है?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं सर। देखिए, हिजाब अगर कोई व्यक्ति पहनता है तो वो उसकी चॉइस है।
नहीं, सिर्फ आपके पार्टी में सदस्यता मिलने के लिए उनको पहनना पड़ा।
नहीं सर, आप उनसे सैयदा फलक सर तमाम टीवी चैनल्स डिबेट करती हैं, आप भी उनसे बात कर सकते हैं कि उनको कभी एमआईएम पार्टी ने ये नहीं कहा कि आप क्या नाम है सदस्यता लेने से पहले आप हिजाब पहनी तभी आपको सदस्यता दी।
Okay, Amber, quick rebuttal, then Ratan Sharda. Yes, quick rebuttal.
Owaisi ji forced me to wear this hijab.
Who said?
I want to.
Who said this? Who said this?
Prime Minister, if you are qualified enough to become a Prime Minister, anybody. We are living in a democracy. Anybody can become a Prime Minister of India. But that cannot be a measure to become a Prime Minister of this country.
Let me ask Ratan Sharda. The criticism against the BJP is you have 300 MPs in the Lok Sabha, you have another almost 100 MPs in the Rajya Sabha. Out of 400 MPs, not a single one of them is from a minority community. Out of the entire Union Council of Ministers, 70-75 of them, not a single one is from the Muslim community. Why is the BJP so against Muslims? And it's not like there aren't capable Muslim candidates. In Uttar Pradesh, for example, where there are 400 tickets that were given by the BJP party, couldn't they find one single Muslim candidate?
See, Zakka already pointed out that this is something to do with winnability. As far as BJP is concerned, is branded Hindu nationalist bigot party. So don't expect, they don't have a responsibility to promote the Muslims. But why all these secular parties who have been there in the power for 60 years out of 75 years, what have they done for the Muslims? That is the bigger question. When somebody like Abdul Kalam becomes the president, the most popular president we ever had, the secular parties did not allow him to have a second term because he was not Muslim enough, because he played Veena, because he respected Gita. Then we have Arif Muhammad Khan, who was made a scapegoat for fighting for the rights of poor India, a Muslim woman called Shah Bano. And he was put on the side, on the sideline, not promoted anywhere in the political parties. Now, the larger point is that since 1921 Khilafat or Caliphate movement, the all secular parties have thrown away modern, forward-looking Muslims who want to be in the mainstream, and they brought all kind of Maulanas, Maulvis, orthodoxy, who believe in 7th century ideology, who doesn't believe in democracy, to come and lead the Muslims. And that is a tragedy. If we had modern people like Zaidi and Sherwani, we would find Muslims leading on so many fronts. Unfortunately, no secular party promotes modern, forward-looking Muslims. And we have all kind of bigots who throw all kind of vague statements and vague kind of constitutionalism to prove their point.
So Sumant Raman, when you had Manmohan Singh,
what is their view on that?
When you had Manmohan Singh as a minority prime minister, when you've had from Gyani Zail Singh to Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed to APJ Abdul Kalam, all minority candidates who went on to become president. We've had a Muhammad Hidayatullah, who is a Muslim Chief Justice of India. Why should India turn around and look at Britain for examples, or look at Britain for its multiculturalism? As a columnist today said, Rishi Sunak at best is an accidental prime minister. Boris Johnson got the mandate because of all kinds of issues around him. He had to quit. And then Liz Truss quit in infamy just after 45 days. So, it's a set of circumstances that made him the prime minister, not his ethnicity, not his Indianness. And certainly, like I said at the top of the show, it is his job as an economist, it is his job to fix the British economy for which he's been chosen. That's the single biggest thing. Even he's not going around and saying, I've been chosen because of my Indian origin.
No, nobody is ever arguing that he has been chosen because of his Indian origin. If anything, his loss to Liz Truss in the contest was also partly attributed to the fact that perhaps Britain was not ready for its first brown prime minister. So that's one part. Now, my point is, Mr. Ratan Sharda has not answered the fundamental question. Not only has the BJP not given representation to Muslims, even the few who were there, like a Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi or Shahnawaz Hussain, have been purged. So it's a very, very disappointing situation. So you can go back to Dr. Zakir Hussain and start from there, Zakka. But the point is, in the last 10 years, particularly in the last 8 years, the representation at the highest level for the minorities, particularly the Muslim community, has been shrinking. I think you can we can argue till the cows come home what happened earlier and so on.
Okay.
There is no dispute. But
No,
the
no,
point
fair point.
remains
I'm not
that
begrudging that. Fair point. Let
18%
Ratan
of the
Sharda respond to that. In the last 8
does not
years,
have
even those
representation.
Muslim candidates like Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi was Minority Affairs Minister. He's gotten purged. There are others, Shahnawaz Hussain. I think Zafar Islam used to be a member of parliament. He's also not there as an
Najma
MP.
Heptullah.
Yeah, Najma Heptullah became governor. You know, surely there must be a good reason for why the BJP, out of 400 MPs and God knows how many MLAs the BJP has, thousands of them across this country, cannot find one Muslim candidate. Ratan Sharda.
As I said, they have tried to cultivate many Muslim leaders. They have nurtured many Muslim leaders. Winnability, you know that the Shahnawaz Khan also lost his election in a very narrow margin. We know other Muslim ministers did not go for open seat, Lok Sabha seats. How do we know they were not offered Lok Sabha seats? It is because the winnability is the issue. They came to Rajya Sabha. They became members. They were given posts, very important posts. But larger point is, what about secular parties? And tell me, why are we obsessed with Muslims only? Why are not talking other minorities? Other minorities have not objected to any of these issues. Why the always discussion goes to Muslims? Muslims got 1/3 of our land to have their own leadership, their own Sharia, their own laws, and now they want to, talk about democracy and use democracy to twist people's arms. What about other minorities? They have risen without any support from government. They have gone to the topmost post without any support from any political party. So why do you want to hang this particular, bell on the head of?
Let Mohammad Farhan respond to that. क्या ये सिर्फ मुस्लिम समुदाय के लिए ही विषय है कि उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन कम हो गया क्योंकि बाकी जो माइनॉरिटीज हैं वो कुछ नहीं बोल रहे हैं?
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज की डेट में मुसलमानों के खिलाफ एक अभियान चलाए हुए है. कभी वो मस्जिद को लेकर, कभी वो हिजाब को लेकर, तो कभी किसी न किसी तरीके का उनको एक ये है कि मुसलमानों को टारगेट रखना है. दूसरी बात मैं कहना चाहूंगा, जो आपने सर एक बात पूछी थी कि क्या हिजाब पहनना हमारे यहाँ अनिवार्य है. हमारे यहाँ या किसी पार्टी में हिजाब तो अनिवार्य नहीं है, मगर हाँ, आरएसएस की हाफ पैंट पहनना अनिवार्य है भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सदस्यता लेने के लिए. और ये देखा गया 6 दशकों तक. अब उन्होंने फुल पैंट कर दी है. अब वो
मैं वही बोलना चाह रहा था कि वो हाफ पैंट को फुल पैंट बना दिए, लेकिन वो अलग बात है.
6 दशक तक सर वो हाफ पैंट पहनते थे. अब उन्होंने क्या नाम है, इतने दिनों के बाद उसको बदल दिया.
ऐसा नहीं. आई डोंट वांट टू डिफेंड आरएसएस और बीजेपी, बट वाजपेयी जी जो प्रधानमंत्री थे वो कभी प्रचारक नहीं थे. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको सदस्यता होनी चाहिए, उससे ही आपको बीजेपी में सदस्य मिलता है. एनीवे, वो तो अलग बात है. वो रहने दीजिए. लास्ट वर्ड I'll give it to Amber Zaidi. I'll give the last word. I've got to wrap up. A simple question: is Mr. Owaisi's idea a noble one? Surely something that Muslim girls should aspire to. Why not? Anyone in this country should aspire to the highest office in this land. Or is he trying to play politics?
It is pure politics, identity politics. They are just trying to play a victim card here in India. He is habitual doing that, and he is repeatedly doing the same thing for a long time, and he is getting the publicity out of this only, out of doing this drama and purely rhetoric. If only he's been concerned about the condition or the empowerment of Muslim women, he should have been focused on education of Muslim girls, healthcare of Muslim girls, and the equal rights which Islam has given, or the Constitution.
All right, I'll wrap up by simply saying that while it may be a noble idea and no one has an issue with Mr. Owaisi asking for his dream of a hijab-wearing woman becoming Prime Minister, the least he can do is to begin by making his own party a little more inclusive, having more women in leadership positions. That's a wrap. Thanks very much for your time. Good night.